Season 2 of Lemont Unlocked, and we're kicking it off inside of Three Stories Bookstore and More. Tess is here with me. My name is Chris. We've been gone a couple of weeks, but the Lemont Unlocked podcast is still going strong. I am looking forward to a new season. We're breaking them up every 3 months into seasons. So this season's going to be meeting more people from around Lemont and going to some of the businesses. We're going to be meeting a local author today.
Ooh.
And we're going to be talking with the folks here at Three Stories as well. Yeah.
Can't wait for it all. And I'm happy that you asked me back as a character, too.
Character. Yeah, you are a character. You're the whole show. Like, here's the thing. I'm going to let everybody in here. I'm going to pull back the curtain real quick. Every once in a while, I'll talk with the folks from the village of Lemont. We'll have a little thing. And what they always tell me is, you need more Tess. Obviously, less me, more Tess.
I mean, I'll take it. That is truly the nicest thing ever. And I truly am having such a blast doing this. So thank you for
awesome.
letting me come along on this journey.
You may be the only person doing it soon if I get killed, which I almost did the other night. I'm hobbled. So like that's the other thing. I'll pull the curtain back on. This episode and probably next episode, I'll be sitting the whole time because I tore my calf muscle the other night. And I did it in the dumbest. I am such an old man, Tess.
Yeah, I need to hear how this even happened. I didn't know you could tear a calf muscle.
I'm 47 years old and I feel like I'm 85 today.
Oh, you're so young.
I was crossing the street. That's all I was doing. I was crossing the street. And every once in a while, just every once in a while, I'll go to some sort of event. You know, I'm a single guy. I was going to a singles event. I was actually going to speed dating.
Ooh la la.
Oh, yeah. Which is a lot of fun. And the last time I went to it, I had an awful lot of fun at it. This time, miserable experience because it's pouring rain. I get out of the car. I go to cross the street. A car comes speeding along, and he's going to hit me. And I jump a little bit. Like one of those little, like, two-step things you do to get out of the way of the car. And my calf muscle explodes on me.
Oh, I can't even think about that. I'm like in sympathy pain with you right now.
And that enough is a problem. But it's even worse then when you're dragging your left leg into a bar to meet the single eligible ladies that you're supposed to meet.
So how many women did you go?
No women wanted me. I was like the old guy on one leg. They're like, well, we're not taking him. He's broken. Like, it was the worst night ever.
You'll get him next time, champ.
No, I'm done. I'm done now. I'm going to grow a big beard and get really fat like Jack Black. The Minecraft movie, I saw him. I'm like, you know what? That's going to be me now.
It's working for him.
Big belly.
Can you sing?
Huh?
Can you sing?
I can try.
Okay.
I'm sure I can sing as well as Jack Black. He's not that good at it. Okay?
He's not that great.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't know if they have a Minecraft book here, but they have a million books here.
Yeah.
So we're going to learn all about this place, and we're going to talk with a local author as well. It's got a brand new book out. There's a lot going on in this episode of Lemont Unlocked. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe. If you're listening on, or if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. You can go to LemontDowntown.com/unlocked to get the player there. You can subscribe on basically every podcast player that's out there if you have a preferred one. I mean, even if you're right now on Apple Podcasts, people don't realize you can actually view it. If you're listening on your Apple Podcast player, it comes across as an audio podcast, but if you open up the podcast player, the video will show up.
You'll want to watch. We're pretty cute.
Just injured. Just one of us is hurt. And it's me. It's me.
Obviously.
More Tess. She's more spry. She can get out of the way.
Stop.
Oh, Lemont Unlocked is back on the scene at a new Lemont business. And, like I mentioned earlier, the second season, we're going to be trying a few different new things. We want to feature new businesses while we're in Lemont.
I'm excited.
And this is a bookstore I've actually been in before, but Carla, you didn't own it the last time I was here. One of my other podcasts on the network, Southside Pod, was here years ago, and you took over Three Stories Bookstore and More when?
In September of 2025.
Okay, so
2024.
24. Okay. In the future, you picked it up. Yeah. No. So first of all, why? Obviously, you're probably an avid reader. You love books. I see most of these books, if not all these books. This is really a kid's bookstore. Yeah. So I can imagine the motivation is that you like all of those things. You like children. You like books. Well, why did you decide to do this?
Well, I think that, you go in for one book and you come out, in my case, with a whole bookstore. And that's kind of how it was. I went in for two books and lo and behold, it was, in all honesty, a very God-driven experience. I am able to fulfill all the things I'm passionate about in this space, and so really it was opportunity. I think there was so much opportunity in this beautiful space that Summer had really provided, and so I kind of came in to maintain it. But for me, I really love art, and I used to teach art, and so being able to combine that with the love of books and all the different topics that we have, I think that's where I'm at with it all,
Yeah, I feel like you do also such a great job with the different programs that you offer too. I know at the coffee shop we get a lot of your homeschoolers in. So what made you want to include a homeschooling program as well?
It just kind of happened. Really, a lot of events that happen that I do, like sensory events, like we have the Sensory Easter Bunny coming up, or Sensory Santa, or homeschool. A lot of it is just the need in town, and they ask and I provide. But like I said, I used to teach art. So to be able to teach art as a homeschool curriculum, I really enjoy that part.
What are the big books right now that the kids want? Because you have all these different series up there, but I would imagine there's something where it's like, I got to make sure I have this because kids are into it right now.
Oh gosh. Well, everything from like Bluey to Taylor Swift is always huge. And then we always have all the new releases. We have like Dog Man, anything that's out, like movies.
I just had to see that movie, and I fell asleep twice during it, but my kid loved it.
No. I know, it was great. It was great. No, I love it. I love what was really unique was the best part about that movie is that it's multiple books, so it's like you have to know and know the stories, and then understand that they put all of it together in one movie, and I think they did a really beautiful job bringing a book to life, and I think that's something I really appreciate as a bookstore owner, is just seeing all of it come to life,
Yeah, that's what my 9-year-old said. He said it's all the books. He said it's all the books together, except I still don't get the whole premise of Dog Man. No, I don't. No, okay. Well, I'm going to give away a major plot line.
Okay.
At the beginning, a dog and a police officer are blown up.
Oh, that's sad.
They're blown up, Tess, and then they cannot save the head of the police officer, so they put the dog's head on a person. And I looked at my kid at one point. I'm like, so the human died? And he goes, no, he didn't. I said, his head isn't there anymore. It's really kind of disturbing when you think about what
so
dog
it's a zombie dog.
Yeah, and then he becomes like a person, but he still can't speak. But it's and he's trying to stop like a cat who wants to like take over the world,
I can't wait to see this. I should read it first, right?
You should read it first.
Okay, I should read it first.
The book is always better than the movie.
Always. Which I know for any viewer or listener, I guess, at home, we're in like the adult section of your bookshop as well. So I guess, what are you reading, and then what has been really requested by your adult fans too?
Oh, what am I reading? Well, thanks to you. I'm reading Fourth Wing. I'm on Iron Flame. I actually was just telling Tess today that I love this bookstore because it brings out the kid in me, and for about like 20 minutes yesterday I got to sit down with a little girl and we just talked about Alice in Wonderland, which is my favorite. So I really want to go back and read some classics, and so that's like where I'm at with my books and my book journey. But there's always something, like every time something comes in, I'm like, oh, that's on my list. Oh, I'm going to put that on the side, or I'm going to do that.
I could never do what you do, because I would just buy all of my own inventory pretty much and just live here.
I do that.
So one of the things that some bookstores do, and I think you do very well, is have events and special things that you're doing, because it's one thing to kind of sit in the bookstore all day long, look at the books, and wait for somebody to come in and buy a book, but this is a space that can be used for a lot of different things and some fun stuff for the kids. So do you have anything coming up?
I do. We have we have like this whole big events that we have online, but our biggest event coming up is on April 29th, and it's going to be April 26th. It's going to be just a really big party to celebrate all the independent bookstores. So I think that'll be a really fun event. But the events are we always have something on. I always wanted to do something not just as a bookstore or for myself. I really wanted the bookstore to be available for the community. So you will always find some kind of free craft or some kind of free event. I think it's really important for kids to have those outlets and the creativity and to go on and do those things for themselves, you know. I really hope that the events inspire and keep their creativity flowing. But, you know, I am fulfillfully tired. Yep. I think that's the best way to say it. I'm fulfilling all of my passions and doing all the things I love to do, but also really exhausted, as you both know.
You said the calendar is online. What's the website, and if somebody wants to see what's coming up?
Yeah, it's at threestoriesbookstore.com, but we're also on Facebook as the same name, but it's Three Stories Books on Facebook.
Most of the people that come in here, I would imagine, bring their kids in here. I know you have an adult section, but the majority of this, it feels like a spot that children would like to hang out in, and they're probably not just looking at books that they might want to purchase, but there's some tables where you can do activities and things like that. What's the typical customer at Three Stories experience? It's not just coming in and grabbing a book, right?
No, it's so much more. That's the best thing about a small business and a small town. It's you come in and we would love to do personal shopping with you. We know the kids' names. They come in and we know their names and we know what they like. And I have all my usuals. And I think that's really what sets us apart, is that we're able to do things with the kids and have those interactions and have those relationships and make them part of their core memories.
Awesome. Carla, Three Stories Bookstore More is really a fun place to kind of walk into. I love what you've done with the place since you got in here. I love the fact that you even have the little back room, yes, and there's stuff to explore.
It is so fun.
You know, I mean, you're going to bring your kids to go do something during the day, or you might, like you said, want to go shop for one of the books for older people or something like that. And this is a place that's got some personality, some fun, and also some very nice people that will show you around. I love it. Thanks so much for having us.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming.
Still at Three Stories Bookstore, and we have a local Lemont author joining us, Pat Camalliere. How are you, Pat?
I'm very well, thank you.
You are a mystery writer, but it's historical mysteries set in Lemont, correct? I know your latest work, which we're going to talk about, is not that. But first, tell me a little bit about what you write and why you started writing books like this.
Well, I've always been interested in reading my entire life. Never thought I'd be a writer myself, but after retirement, I had always done a lot of things on my primary job, which was in medical administration that involved writing. And everybody always said I had a talent for it. So I said, why not try? And so at the ripe old age of 66, I decided, okay, I'm going to give it a try, but I jumped right into a novel first thing.
And these are all your books? So you're telling me you started at 66, you have 5 books out?
Correct.
Man, I got to get going in life.
I was going to say, what am I doing over here?
It's amazing. So you write the historical mysteries, and why this type of book? Because you could write about anything. You could have written, but you were like, not only do I want to write something that's in Lemont, but I want to do something that is mystery oriented.
Well, we moved to Lemont in 1998.
Okay.
And I just loved the town. And so I got very interested, and it's different from everywhere else. You know, it sits on a bluff overlooking a river. Where else do you get that in the Chicago area? It's just very unique. And I'd always read mysteries. And so I was interested in the history of Lemont, and so I said, well, okay, I want to write about Lemont, and it's going to be a mystery. And it just kind of fell into place after that.
That's fantastic. So I love that these are based in Lemont, and you're right, it's just one of the perfect places to draw your inspiration from. Mm-hmm. Now, do you feel that you have to visit each location before you start writing, or are you able to do a lot from memory?
Well, I have to visit the locations, but I mean, it goes deeper than that. I'm writing historical mysteries, so I have to know not only what it's like now, but what it used to be like. So I do an awful lot of research. There's 2 years of research that goes into every book. But yeah, as a matter of fact, it's an interesting question because I had a book almost ready. In fact, I had a proof copy in front of me, and something seemed off. And so I went back to the location, which was on Bluff Road, on the opposite side of the river.
Beautiful spot, by the way.
Yeah. And where I was describing it in the book, they were standing in Keepataw Preserve looking at Lemont in the distance. What was wrong was you used to be able to see Lemont from there, but after they built 355, you can no longer see Lemont. And so I had to change everything that I had in that scene because it had changed since the last time I'd been
Great
there.
attention to detail there. That's
I love
amazing.
that. I mean, because you know what? A lot of people would have said, I've already written the book. I'm not changing a
You're
thing.
looking at her. I would have been that person.
The newest book that's out is not a historical mystery. It's called Staying Alive is a Lot of Work, which, by the way, is a wonderful title.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, I proved just the other day, almost dying in the middle of the street, that like staying alive is an awful lot of work. So, first of all, this is about your cancer battle, and it's a memoir, correct? Tell me a little bit about this book and why you wrote it.
Okay. Well, I'm a survivor of tongue cancer, and this happens to be Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Month in the month of April. I worked in healthcare for 40 years as a healthcare administrator, and never thinking that I would have the disease myself. I was treating cancer patients, and then after retirement, after my first couple of books were out, I myself came down with cancer. So I knew cancer from both sides, and I knew how to write. And so I thought that was kind of a unique experience, a writer who was also in the field treating patients and then being a patient herself. So I thought it was very important. I actually wrote the book 3 times because while I was undergoing treatment, I had a blog, and I would blog about my journey to wellness. Then I sat down to write the memoir and reminded myself that I was a fiction writer, and so I wrote a novel instead, using my main character to have the same disease that I had. And then after I did that, I said, this didn't quite do what I wanted it to, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to give people a tool so that they would know if they went through it, or if they had, maybe their spouse was going through it, a way to know what really happens and to make their journey easier. So I thought I needed to do this as a gift to the world, to how to survive this disease. So yeah, that's why I wrote it.
And that's where the final version comes in. And I know that it's important to you because of this month, and because it is Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Month, to make sure that I always notice this with people who have survived a cancer. They want to make sure that people know this is what you look out for.
Right.
This is how you take care of it, and this is how you avoid it, and this is how you handle it. Like it's not like I went through it. Good luck yourself. They want to help other people out.
Yes.
So tell me real quick, because I know you know about it all at this point with these diseases. Any preventative measures, any testing people should be getting, what they should be looking out for.
Sure. I will make this brief, but this is now the 6th most common type of cancer, head and neck cancer. It's very curable, but sometimes the courses are very difficult because you need to have radiation, and there are a lot of structures in your neck that get affected by radiation. There's about 72,000 cases in the United States that are diagnosed each year. Head and neck cancer is the cancers that are in the mouth, in the throat, in the nose. Risk factors are tobacco and alcohol, but predominantly HIV. 70% of these cancers...
HPV.
HPV. 70% of these cancers are HPV related. People don't realize that 80% of all sexually active people will be infected with HPV at some point in their life. So the statistics are really high. And
there's a vaccine for it, and I know the younger generation gets the vaccine,
Right.
and that's the thing. Okay, they didn't have it when I was younger. They didn't offer that vaccine, right? So it's probably something that's more predominant in older people.
right. So here's the thing. These are symptoms that you could watch for. Lumps or sores that don't heal, persistent sore throat, difficulty swallowing, harshness in your voice, change in your voice, red or white patches in your mouth, trouble breathing or speaking. And what do you do if you notice any of these things, or if you don't notice it and you just want to get screened? Typically, you almost have to ask for it, because a lot of doctors aren't really looking for that if you don't notice it on yourself. So you can ask your primary care doctor. You can ask your dentist, and you actually should ask your dentist at every visit.
This book, Staying Alive is a Lot of Work, and also these other 4 books here, these are available right now. Are you more of a buy it on Amazon, buy it at your local bookstore? As an author, where do you prefer that people get your books?
Well, the easiest way to get them is on Amazon.
Yeah.
And all my books are on Amazon.
Any advice before we let you go for young writers or aspiring writers, or writers that are going to get started in their 60s? Because
you can start anytime.
Pat just basically said, "What are you doing, lazy? Why don't you start writing a book?"
My first advice is start early. Don't wait that long. And start by having a journal and an awareness that you may want to write someday. And whenever you have ideas, you write them in the journal. And that's how you get started. That's my
great.
advice.
It's awesome. Pat Camalliere, thank you so much. One of Lamont's many writers. I know that there's several of them in the area.
Very
and
lucky.
These books, definitely check them out, and definitely check out this memoir. As we heard, it took 3 different versions to get to this, so a lot was put into it, and I would go out and grab it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.